All right, we're going to go ahead and start. Thanks for joining today for our presentation. We're going to talk about producing Word documents and PDFs from SharePoint lists. So let's go ahead and begin. So just to get started, we're going to do some intros and I'll give you a little bit of background and some ground rules before we get into our main presentation. My name is Will Cooper and I am a SharePoint specialist. I'm a solutions developer, and in fact, I build solutions that are connected with all things Microsoft, especially the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. I run my own SharePoint consulting business, WWC Software Solutions, and then I wear other hats too. I run a YouTube channel called SharePoint Smart, and that's got lots of good information that's free that'll help you learn how to do all kinds of interesting things in SharePoint. I hope you check that out. And then one other thing that I do, I run a platform for SharePoint dashboards templates. So that site is sharepointdashboards.com. I'm going to talk more about that after our main presentation, but that's a little bit about me. Let's talk about InfoWise. InfoWise is the organization that I work with, and we provide the Ultimate Forms software. And we're all about trying to make things simple, easy, and we want to keep making it better. So this is a platform that as a team we've collaborated on and improved and added to and made awesome over many, many years. So I love to be a part of that, and our customers love being a part of that too. It's just a really cool, awesome way to be able to do all kinds of interesting things in SharePoint, especially building solutions. Ultimate Forms is our software. This is a full solution toolkit that can be added to SharePoint. You're able to use this completely in SharePoint. You don't have to work in any external tool or anything in that like that. And what is also great is you will be doing no programming. You don't have to write code. You can do it all through a visual interface. So this lends itself well to people who aren't programmers. At the end, we're going to do a drawing for a free embroidered InfoWise shirt, and you're eligible if you're in the US. For shipping reasons, this is a giveaway just for those of you who are in the United States. And then after that, I'm going to tell you more about SharePoint dashboards. That's a separate additional presentation for anybody who would like to stick around. Now, you guys are on mute, but that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. If you have questions during the presentation, use the GoToWebinar questions interface. Please be patient. You may not get a response right away, but I promise before the end, we will respond to you. And another thing you can do, of course, is contact us to set up a demo call or send us an email. You'll get more information on that as we proceed forward. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump in and talk about the stuff that we're all interested in. And I should mention Ultimate Forms is available both for online for Microsoft 365 and also for on-premise. Everything I show you today, you'll be able to do this in both types of SharePoint. And this is kind of the issue with out-of-the-box SharePoint. It's limited. There's a lot of potential in the platform, but you need additional tools to be able to accomplish the things that you want. And especially in the scenario that we're talking about today when it comes to being able to print out Word documents and PDFs. So Ultimate Forms is really about addressing those needs and giving you a complete platform by adding these tools to SharePoint to allow you to accomplish everything that you want to do. Let's focus in on these Word docs and PDFs from SharePoint. So what are the key concepts here? What is it that we need to be able to do to accomplish our goal? Every one of us need to be able to do things like send PDFs to customers, and we want to get that from our SharePoint list. So how do we go about doing that? Because we know SharePoint out of the box really doesn't provide any native abilities to do that for us. So what do we want to focus on? So one thing I think just about everyone would agree on, for all of us who are familiar with using Microsoft tools, Microsoft Word is probably one of the first things that we've all learned. So it just makes good sense that if I'm going to make a print template, it sure would be nice to be able to just make a Word document where I can do all my formatting of what I'm going to want in my printout and use that with my SharePoint list. So that's a key part of this, and I'll show you that's what you'll be able to do. We need to have a corresponding form, a list form corresponding to your SharePoint list records. Out of the box, SharePoint does not give that to you. You cannot do custom forms. They do have an additional platform, which is Power Apps, which has a steep learning curve. It's very developer-oriented and does use code snippets and pretty time-consuming overall. That's not really going to suit our needs. We need some kind of easy form-building tool for SharePoint where we can set up a form to capture all our data and do something like spit out an invoice, which is what we're going to look at today. So that's equally important along with the print template. As far as the print template itself, we don't want to have to do any special, black magic inside of Microsoft Word. We just want to create a regular plain vanilla Word document and be able to reference those fields. And as you can see in the screenshot, all that you're going to have to do is just surround the name of your SharePoint field with square brackets, and the template tool will recognize that, insert that information, and that's all that there is to it. And then we're going to need to load that into SharePoint. So we need a really simple, easy way to do that, and luckily that's what's going to be provided in what I'll show. You just upload your Word document, and that becomes your print template. All right, once we've got that all loaded, and when it comes time to spit out an invoice, as I'm going to show, or any type of custom document, we really need that to be just as simple as possible. And what I'll show, it will do this with one button click. With one button click, it will make not only the Word document with the information from the list, it's also additionally going to make a converted PDF from that all at the same time, all in one pass. And it gives us a nice message too. So we're coming to that. And then we're going to have a corresponding library where these files are getting generated. So corresponding to our SharePoint list, we'll also have a library where these documents and PDFs are going to be produced, and we need to be able to work with that easily. It's got to be just really simple. We can just browse through and get what we need. As far as providing these to other people, naturally, once you produce that, the next thing to do is you need to send that along. So I'm demonstrating an invoice, so we want a really simple way to get that to the customer. I don't want to have to go through multiple steps. I don't need to download that, then go into an email, upload it there, and then manually type in some things. I really just need to streamline that and have one button click, and that's part of this as well. And we need that customer to get a very simple, clean email, which simply gives us whatever custom email content we want and the attached document. So we want that all automated, automatic, with as few steps as possible. Here's a big one. And this is a bit of an elephant in the room, I would say, when it comes to producing documents. And that is the challenge of repeating tables. And in situations like we're looking at, where we're doing an invoice or a purchase order or a quote, this comes up all the time, where you need to have a repeating list of items inside of the main form. And SharePoint out of the box just doesn't really give you any way to do that at all, certainly by no easy means. And so the repeating table is a key part of this print template. Without these tools, it is extremely difficult to do this and requires many technical steps using something like a Power Automate workflow. Not easy to pull off without these tools. I'm going to show you how nicely that works in this system. It's a very key part to print templates, having the ability to deal with repeating tables. And then, of course, adaptability. We need a tool, we need a process that can adapt to all kinds of different print templates, so not just appropriate for, only for these situations. We need it to be able to do all kinds of different things. And what I'll show you today can really adapt to whatever type of situation that you're going to do. All right, let's get out of this boring PowerPoint deck and let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to SharePoint. Here I am in SharePoint Online, and I have a site set up which I'm going to demonstrate the solution. One thing I didn't mention to you, when I finish this presentation, I am going to save this entire solution as a template which you can download for free and try out for yourself. I hope that you do that. So this isn't just something special that I built. You can actually get a copy of that and try out everything that I'm going to show in this presentation. And this will also be loaded to YouTube later, so you can watch the recording and download this, go through the steps, and do everything that I'm going to demonstrate. What we're going to do first is look at this from a user perspective. We're going to look at how it works in terms of using what I've set up, and then what we'll do is go behind the curtains and understand the configuration to get to that point. Now, what I should do is start by showing you the Word document which I created. So let me open that up real quick. This is just a regular, plain vanilla, ordinary Word document. The only thing interesting I did, of particular note, I just inserted some tables because that lends itself well to this invoice template. As I mentioned previously, the only special thing I did to make this work with the tool is I put in the SharePoint field names inside of square brackets. That's all that you would need to do. I don't need to go to a developer toolbar. I don't need to go to any special tools. I don't need to save this as a Word template. This is an ordinary Word document, and all that I've done is put the names of SharePoint fields in square brackets. So that is the only thing you'll need to do with your template. And naturally, you can go ahead and change the font size and colors and do all of the normal kinds of things that you like to do in Microsoft Word. Okay, so let me go to my invoices list, and we're going to make a new invoice. So this is just used as an example, just to demonstrate especially the repeating tables and things like that. But try to imagine that you can use this process for any type of printing situation. So here I am with my invoice form that I created, and I'm going to go ahead and give it an invoice number. We'll say 8989. Notice that I have some things going on with my form. I have it automatically defaulting to net 30 terms. It automatically defaulted in the current date. It automatically figured out what is that date plus 30. So this is speeding things up, streamlining, filling things in that it should know just by rules. And I'll show you how that's done behind the scenes in a little bit. Okay, so I need to just come up with a fictional business name. We'll just say Aaron Office Supplies. Notice I've got a dynamic header that's filling in. It's just giving me summary information. And we'll say Aaron Miller, and I'll just fill in a fictional address. 300 North 3rd Street, Suite 5. And then I'll say Nowhere, Alaska. Okay, I'm just putting in some dummy stuff just to get the concept going. And then we get to the part that I told you was very important, which is the invoice lines. So this is the repeating table. And what you'll see is I can add lines to my invoice really easy, and it does some things dynamic that I like. So we'll just say this is kind of related to office supplies. So we'll say printer paper, and we'll say that's going to be reams, 12 of those, and I'm just putting in fictional price. Now notice the total is auto-calculated. I'll show you how that's all done. Really simple to set up. I can just save that, and now I've got a repeating table going. I've got an invoices total, and you notice that's calculating automatically. So just a really simple, easy user interface. Okay, so let's put printer cartridges, and we'll say a whole bunch of those, 100 printer cartridges. Whoops, I put that in the wrong field. Let me put that over here. Just putting in some more description. We'll say those are 6730. He's going to have a big order. They need lots of printer cartridges. Let's do one more. Let's say office cabinet. I'm just making stuff up just for fun. 5 office cabinets. So that's $4.99 and save. I just am demonstrating this concept of a repeating table with an invoice total. And then the notes would be, something to show on the invoice in case that we have something extra we want to say. So please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so this is a SharePoint list record. So I have a custom form attached to it. This is all saving in SharePoint fields. And what I want to do first, I need to do save updates because that SharePoint record doesn't exist until I've saved at least one time. You'll notice right after I did that, I have this custom button that I put into my form, which is actually going to produce the document in the PDF. So let's go ahead and click on that. Gives me a nice dialog to tell me what's going on. There's a process that has to wait in line, so to speak. It goes off to the server and tells that server to go ahead and do some work. So we're in that line at the moment. I can see the progress on this. Depending on time of day and other things going on, it can be a little faster, a little slower. But I just wait, and you'll see it switch, and I'll get in progress. And then after that, success, just a moment. And once I've done that, I can go ahead and hop over to my library, which is going to have all those documents. So let me go to the library real quick while I'm waiting on that. Here's the invoice library. It just created the Word document. As you can see, you get checkboxes when that's done. So that's close. And another thing I did is I just added a link to that to make it easy to get to. So once it does give me success, I can just jump over to that by clicking on this button. That would take me right over to the library. And there we go. Now, right now you see 4 Word documents. So there's Aaron's office supplies. Notice it did some dynamic things. It inserted the name of the customer and the document name. It inserted the invoice number and then also inserted today's date. So all those things are good just to make sure we have a really specifically named document. And then that triggers another action, which is going to convert that over to the PDF automatically. So if we wait a second, we're going to see that automatically appear as well. Now I've got a download button. This is a custom button. In fact, that comes from SharePoint dashboards. Just does what you expect. I click on that and it downloads the Word document. And let's go ahead and open up what it created for us. Now at this stage, if you want to make some adjustments, you could go ahead and do that. So for example, maybe I want to adjust this repeating table in the middle. I want to make that look differently. I can just do ordinary Word things again. So I don't have to worry about anything. I can customize this to be exactly what I want. So maybe I want to make this whole, adjust the width of this table and adjust some of these column widths, that type of thing. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Kind of move things around, make more adjustments if I want. And then I can, if I want, go ahead and save those updates and update my PDF when I'm ready for that. So I can just save that. Once I'm done, I can just drag and drop that up. Notice we've got 4 PDFs now. It finished creating the PDF for us as well. Normally I'd want to send that PDF to my customer. I just updated my Word document. It says, oh, do you want to replace that? Yeah, I just updated it. So I can do that type of thing. Okay. Well, then what's the other thing we talked about? We want to be able to email that to the customer very simply, right? So I'm going to show you how simple that is. I just put a check mark next to it. I'm ready to send this to Aaron. So I'm going to go to a special ultimate forms function. It's under run actions. And I created a special action. It just says email customer. So at that point, I can just put in an email address and hit save. And same as before, I'll get a dialog that tells me what's going on. That one was really fast. And that's going to trigger an email to that customer. So we'll take a look at that in a second. We'll wait for that to go through the pipes. That's it. I just did the entire print process start to finish. I created the invoice. I clicked the button which auto-generated the Word document, and then I automatically emailed that. Now what you notice here that's also cool is we have email and email sent. So maybe I'm not sure, I can't remember. Did I send that over to Aaron? Yes, I did. I have the date timestamp of when that was sent, what email address I sent it to, all that kind of stuff. So that just makes things really handy and easy to work with. So now we're going to kind of turn and look behind the curtains a little bit. We'll try to understand how this was all set up and how you're able to configure some of these things. So let's go back to the starting thing that we had, which was the invoices list. So in my invoices list, I have that custom form. So once you have this app installed, you can click on this design button, and then I have a whole host of different options. I'll show you the print template first, since that's the easiest and simplest thing to do. So I just added a new print template, and in that print template, I have a special tab. I have the names of my fields, and there's a Word tab, and that's what we did. We used this Microsoft Word template option, and I just clicked upload. And if I wanted to update my template, I can just make adjustments at any time and re-upload that. So very simple to work with. That's how that print template was defined. And then I have an action. If you remember, there are buttons in that form that go to that. Before I do that, let me show you. I just got the email. I'm wearing my Aaron hat for the moment. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so Aaron just got his email. There's the PDF attached. So that was nice. I didn't have to go off into email. I didn't have to download it to my computer, then upload it to an email. I didn't have to go through multiple steps. I just clicked an action and boom, just spit it out to my customer. Super handy. So in the actions, I have make Word doc. And so with Ultimate Forms, there is a print list items action that you can set up. And it's very simple. I just told it I wanted to use this invoice template, which we were just looking at. I told it to use the Word format, and then I just need to tell it where to put that. So I made a library called Invoice Library. I just pointed it to that. And then the way that it did that dynamic document name, you can make that work however you want, but remember the square brackets from the Word document? Similar type of situation here. You can select from the fields in your SharePoint list and just reference those. So what I'm telling it is, okay, put the customer name followed by the word invoice and then the invoice number, and then add some date functions here too. So basically I wanted to go month, day, year in that, and that just gives that document automatically that specific name without me having to do that myself. So that's everything, and I connected that with my form, which I'll show you next. The form designer is awesome. It's probably my favorite part of Ultimate Forms. It's fluid, it's fast, it's user-friendly. What you see is what you get. It's just really fun and easy to work with. I can't really imagine or I've seen anything nearly as close in terms of building forms, in terms of how easy it is to work with. Basically, you just drag fields out onto the form, and then you can do things like change the look and feel of the form by clicking on form elements. And I don't have to get into a style sheet or do any coding like that. I can just do things like pick a custom background color, just for the heck of it. We'll switch it to green. And then I just hit OK and save, and then immediately I see those updates. So you can also do multi-column layouts. So I have this container. I told it, okay, make it 2 columns. You can see if I switch that, I can immediately see those changes. So multi-column forms, really easy to set up. There's my dynamic header. You can see I just made some field references. That's what was filling in automatically. And there's the repeating table. And then there's custom buttons at the bottom. The save button is just a save button, save and edit. That's what that is. I only had to set that. And then right next to it, that's the one that's really important. If you remember, I clicked on that, and that's what actually generated the Word document. So right before I came into Form Designer, you might remember I have that action to make the Word document. All this is a special type of button called trigger action, and I just, in my drop down, just selected that action. It just tells it to do that thing. Then I have the link over here. So you'll be able to download and play around with this form that I built on your own. Let me get out of here without saving because I don't want that background color to be saved. Okay, so there's this list and there's the library. So let's go over to the library now. If I go to the invoice library, there's not much that needed to be configured here. In this case, there is no custom form that I have to worry about, but I do have some actions tied to this. So I'll go to design for the library. And what we'll see is that I have two actions. One's for email customer. So all this one does is update a couple of fields, the email address and the email sent after that's filled in. And then I have another one. If I wanted to re-trigger that make PDF process, I didn't do that one, but I might want to do that manually. I can select that, but this is simply a copy list item action, and I have a special setting in here for copy Word document to PDF. Then I also did allow overwrite because that's certainly going to be the case. This is going to happen a lot where I already had a PDF there. I just need to update it with a new version if I'm making a revision. And tied to that is the actual trigger system for the email. Ultimate Forms has a whole email alert system, and that's also easy to work with. I just created a rule, and that just says whenever that email sent gets changed through that action, go ahead and send out the email. And then I just tell it what I want in the email. So I said, put in this text in the subject line, and then put that dynamically named document name up there. And then I have a text. And the key thing here is right at the bottom, you'll see it says insert attachments or documents. So obviously we have a document we're sending the customer. That is the entirety of the configuration I had to do to set up that email notification rule. So once you have access to this, what you're going to do later today, or as soon as you're able, you'll go to the solution catalog, and you'll be able to download exactly what I'm showing by going to this InfoWise Webinars tab, or you can actually do it from the InfoWise website. So you can download this, and we offer our entire software free for 30 days. No limits whatsoever other than you get it for 30 days, and at that point you need to sign up. So everything I've showed you, you can try. To do that, just click on the try now for free, and then just click on the install instructions. It's pretty quick and painless. Just go through that process. I mentioned if you want to talk to us, we're really happy to talk to you. If you want to talk more specifically about some of your needs, we've got a demo request option, and we'll set up a meeting to talk to you on a call. And then if you have questions about pricing and stuff, that's up in the pricing link. Under our resources webinars, we've updated it so that you can actually install the templates directly from these pages. So you can get to it from that as well. So lots of options. We have lots of resources in terms of tutorials and training and information like that, so you can learn more about how our tools work. So it's fast, fun, it's easy, it's everything about it's really cool. So if you've never worked with Ultimate Forms before, I hope you'll check that out. For those of you guys who are already Ultimate Forms customers on the call, I hope this helped illuminate some additional things, especially in regard to the PDFs and Word document templates. What I'm going to do now is try to address some questions from the chat. So if you have any burning questions, make sure you get them in there. And then we're going to do a shirt drawing. Okay, so let's see. Is it possible to use different templates? Yeah, that's a good question from Peter. You can load as many templates as you want. So you could have different options there. In that print template screen, I just had one there, but you can define different ones. You could have dozens of templates referenced just to one list. It's quite flexible. How did I make the associated items table appear bigger? Brian, I made an adjustment to that manually by downloading the Word document. So I just did that in Word. That was my thing. And that could be a situation where you may want to make a tweak or two before you send something. So that's an optional step. Can these forms be applied to mobile devices? Everything I showed you can be used on mobile phones. You just go in your browser and go to SharePoint Online. That would be applicable to the SharePoint Online version of SharePoint, and everything I showed you will 100% work on mobile devices. Okay, linking the doc and the PDF to the actual invoice when the Word doc is generated. I don't quite understand that, Gene. Maybe you can send me another question. I'm not sure what it is you're looking to do. The way this works is it sends an email out to your customer and actually attaches the file to the email. So that's how they would receive it. Okay, what else do we got? Lots of good questions. Thank you for that. Where does the conversion process to PDF takes place? The conversion is done through the Ultimate Form service. So that's a process that happens on an InfoWise server as a part of our software. Yes, the process I showed, it works very much the same way for on-premise SharePoint. If you have any technical issues or questions on that, obviously go ahead and reach out to our support. But yes, it would work the same for SharePoint on-premise. Can you make a customized workflow? Of course. This is just one of a million different kinds of workflow you can do. So if you're new to Ultimate FormSmart, what I would suggest is you just check out some of our other webinars. Every single one of those have different types of workflows. So Ultimate Forms includes its own workflow process, which they refer to as actions. So you can create any kind of scenario in terms of your business processes. The email can be sent to anybody you want, Kathy. This was just an example going to one person. That would be very easy to make that flexible to get multiple email addresses. So no limits on that. This example had SharePoint columns. The columns can be anywhere. So Daniel, the columns are can be at the top, the header, like the invoice number, or the individual invoice line items. Not a separate SharePoint list for the line items, but any of that can work. In terms of conversion to PDF, this is specifically for Word to PDF conversion. What else we got? Does it work with Excel? Not sure about that one. I have to follow up on that. I think this does work for Excel. I'm not 100% certain. How does formatting for mobile devices work? Jamie, this uses adaptive design. The best thing I can recommend to you is to just go ahead and try it out on your mobile phone. But our form builder and our forms are set to adapt to displays on mobile phones. No, you do not need to make a separate form for your mobile device. It will automatically adapt and display correctly on a mobile device without you having to do anything. Can a button be set up to do that entire chain of actions in terms of create the Word doc, make the PDF, and email the current user? Yes, of course. It's just according to your custom requirements. So I just showed an example, but you could tweak this and adjust it to work however you want. If you want to chain all of those things together, absolutely, that's possible. Can you format the field on the template to different date formatting? Yes, typically the way you would do that is in SharePoint. So you might make an additional field, like a calculated field, which would go ahead and display that date differently. That's where you would do the conversion, and then you would reference that field. Okay, so great questions. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and do a shirt drawing real quick. I want a number from you guys from 1 to 100. Reminder, this is for people in the United States only. And whoever gets closer to my number, one guess only, please. They're going to get a shirt mailed to them today. So you've got about 10 seconds, and then I'm going to name a winner. Good luck. All right, we've got a winner, and it is Mindy. I don't think there's more than one Mindy on our call. Mindy, send me an email. My email is willc@infowisesolutions.com. I need your shirt size and I need a mailing address, and you're going to get a shirt mailed to you today. Thank you. Okay, guys, one more chance for you to ask questions about this, and we're going to pivot and talk about a different topic, which is SharePoint dashboards. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you've had a chance to close out with any questions about the solution I demonstrated. Just a reminder, this will be available to you today. You can download this template. In order to be able to do that, you need to get signed up for Ultimate Forms if you haven't already. That's free. You will get our software for 30 days, which has all of the functionality, at which point you can download the template. So be sure you sign up there. Mindy, you can just email or contact us through the website if you don't have the email, or you can watch the YouTube video to get that again. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next part of this. So we're going to talk about SharePoint dashboards now. If there's any part of the presentation you want to see, again, this will be on YouTube later. So let's go ahead and pivot over to that. So for those of you guys who want to stick around, that's great, but it's up to you. So SharePointDashboards.com, that's another site. It's not part of Ultimate Forms. It's an additional tool that's available that you can take a look at. I'm going to help you understand what that is, how you might use it, and how you can explore that in addition to what you're exploring with Ultimate Forms. This is a visualization tool which allows you to build all kinds of templates to visualize data. This is specifically for SharePoint Online and for SharePoint Server Subscription Edition. If you don't have those versions of SharePoint, most of these templates won't work. And I'm sorry if that's your particular situation, but I just want to make sure that you understand that. The next thing I want to tell you is if you sign up for this, you can get access to 20 of the templates for free. There's no obligation. You can use those templates unlimited for free. All that you have to do is click on this button for free sign up, and you just enter your email and contact information, and that's it. Then you'll get a login sent to you, and you can use all the free templates. There are 20 free templates. Of course, there's a lot more available if you try those free templates and you want to take advantage of the whole tool set. In fact, there at the moment are a total of 131 templates. What are these templates? Let's take a look and understand. So when you first get into this, what you're going to be doing is using the free ones, and you saw some of those in my demonstration today. As an example, the edit button. That's something that's not in modern list views in SharePoint, but this is a template to allow you to do that. That's a commonly used one. It just displays a little button in a column, which you can click on, that opens up the edit form for your SharePoint list. There's lots of other buttons that you can use. Notice I had a download button on my library that also came from this template. How do you apply these templates? It's really easy. It's copy and paste. There are videos when you sign up which will help you learn more about that. Every single one of the templates has a video tutorial in the instructions box in the lower left. So fear not, there's plenty of help to you when you first start trying to use this tool. Now, as you get through that and you become comfortable and understand how to copy and paste these templates and use it on your SharePoint list views, then you may start to be more interested in the more advanced templates that are available if you continue with this. In particular, there are many charting templates. So if you are a SharePoint customer that doesn't use Power BI or doesn't want to pay for that, but you want charting capabilities and you want to be able to display charts to users in SharePoint, this could be an excellent solution for you. In fact, I am in process of building a SharePoint training course. I'm most of the way through it. I'll be completely done by this day next week. In fact, I'm recording a session later today. If you want to watch that on YouTube, you'll find it at the SharePoint Smart channel. This is a complete training course to show you how to build any kind of charts that you want to build in SharePoint. All that you need for this is to get the license for one user and you're set and ready to go. General, all you have to do with these templates is just do configuration options. It's all visual. You see exactly what you're getting and you just copy and paste that over into SharePoint and that's all there is to it. If you're curious about it, I really recommend the gallery screen. You can browse through all kinds of different templates that have all kinds of different functions to visualize your data. So there's all kinds of interesting possibilities. If you really want to impress your users and make SharePoint look a lot more interesting and visualize your data instead of just having gray text on white backgrounds, this will allow you to do that. So all these tiles give you a visual preview and then you can just click into them. And even before you've signed up for a pro license, you can still see exactly how it works. This is a free one actually, the rating icons one, but I can just do things like adjust the colors and it just adjusts whatever I want. I can pick from any of the Microsoft icons, you name it. There's just lots and lots of possibilities. But like Ultimate Forms, what's nice is you will never ever have to do any custom coding. Any of you guys who have used or know about JSON formatting and list view templates or column templates, that's what this is. This tool produces that code dynamically and automatically so that you don't have to do it. So that's the gist of SharePointDashboards.com. And you can dip your toes into the water, as I say, by signing up for a free login. That will let you begin to learn how these templates work, begin to use those in your SharePoint environment. And then as you're more comfortable with that, if you want to look at the option to use all of the templates on the site, then there's a subscription opportunity, and that doesn't require any significant commitment. You can just sign up for a pay-as-you-go, month-to-month subscription. And so it's easy to do that. You can just sign up for a month if you're unsure, and I think you will like it, but if for any reason you don't like it, you can just stop after a month. So it doesn't require a lot of deliberation in terms of having to sign up for an annual license or make a major expenditure. Another nice advantage, you do not need to install anything whatsoever in your SharePoint environment. This is just copy and paste templates. This will work for any SharePoint Online, including Government Cloud if you're in GCC High, and you don't have to install anything. So if that's been a frustration to you, that's another thing that's nice about it. All right, that's mainly what I wanted to tell you about with SharePoint dashboards. Do you guys have any questions about that? No questions. Okay. All right. Well, you can contact me through the SharePoint dashboard site through the contact form if you have any questions on that. It's just a self-service sign-up form for the free sign-up. So a lot of information that you guys got in our presentation today. I know it's a lot to chew on. The most important thing you can do is download and install the free Ultimate Forms software to begin trying that in your SharePoint environment. That will let you download the print solution that I showed with invoices today. You can try out everything I was working with. And then, as I say, you can do your free sign up for the SharePoint dashboard site if you're interested in that. And that's pretty much it. We've covered everything. I'll go ahead and keep the session going for a while to answer questions. This stage, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for our YouTube.